Arjun, thanks for joining me. Now, the Supreme Court, viewers, is set to deliver its verdict on petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the special intensive revision conducted by the Election Commission of India. A bench comprising Chief Justice Surikant and Justice Joy Malla Bagchi will pronounce the judgment today. The petitioners move the court, claiming that the Election Commission lacks the authority under Article 326 of the Constitution, the Representation of the People Act 1950 and the rules framed under it to conduct the SIR exercise on such a large scale. The top court had reserved its judgment on January 29 after hearing detailed arguments from both the petitioners and the poll panel. Among those who moved the court against the exercise was the NGO Association for Democratic Reforms, which argued that the ECI lacks the constitutional and statutory authority to conduct such a large-scale revision. During the hearings, the Supreme Court declined to stay the ongoing SIR process but clarified that it would examine the larger legal question of whether the ECI possessed the authority to carry out such an exercise. The bench had also observed that even if the final electoral rolls were published, the court would still be free to intervene if it found any illegality in the process. And Sambhav Sharma is joining me with the latest developments. Sambhav, what can you tell us?
After detailed hearing in the SIR process, the Supreme Court reserved its judgment, and today the top court is going to deliver its ruling on the petitions challenging validity of this SIR, that is Special Intensive Revision exercise conducted by the Election Commission of India. And in a way, it is going to be interesting to see what the top court is to say, because the top court bench of Justice, the Chief Justice of India Surikant and Justice Joy Malla Bagchi earlier in January reserved the judgment after hearing arguments on several dates. Which the hearing underwent in the Supreme Court for around 3 months. Now, the batch of petitions led by the ADR and the PUCL, along with petitions filed by many opposition leaders, challenge the legality and the validity of the operational framework of this special intensive revision exercise initiated by the Election Commission of India in the state of Bihar and later on extended to several other states and union territories, including the state of West Bengal. And the main contention of the petitioners here in the Supreme Court was, that the timing, the manner, and the scale of exercise was the bone of contention, where on one hand ECI was saying that under Article 324 of the Indian Constitution.
All right, Sambhav, thanks for joining me. I have Advocate Ashwini Dubey, he's a Supreme Court lawyer, joining me. Advocate Dubey, the Supreme Court is set to deliver its verdict on petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the SIR conducted by the Election Commission. What would you like to say on it, and how will this proceed? We're going to try and reconnect with Advocate Dubey very shortly, viewers. But the Supreme Court, as I was telling you earlier, is set to deliver its verdict on petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the SIR conducted by the Election Commission of India. A bench comprising Chief Justice Surikant and Justice Joy Malla Bagchi will pronounce the judgment today. The petitioners move the court, claiming that the Election Commission lacks the authority under Article 326 of the Constitution, the Representation of the People Act 1950, and the rules framed under it to conduct SIR exercise on such a large scale. The top court had reserved its judgment on January 29 after hearing detailed arguments from both the petitioners and the poll panel. And I have Advocate Ashwini Dubey, he's a Supreme Court lawyer, joining me. Advocate Dubey, the Supreme Court is set to deliver its verdict on petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the SIR. Now, what do you have to say on it, and how do you think this will proceed?
See, the Honorable Supreme Court hearing the batch of petitions. The petitions wherein the SIR exercise undertaken by the Election Commission of India was challenged before the Supreme Court by various petitioners on the ground that the timing of that SIR is contrary to the basic object of the Constitution, and SIR has been brought in order to exclude those who are not favoring a particular, who are not the voters of the particular government or ruling decision, and arbitrarily the name is being treated of the genuine voter. So, the Honorable Supreme Court in a marathon hearing, a number of occasions have already, because the election has taken over and now the government has also been formed. Only thing is that Honorable Supreme Court will see that whether the SIR exercise was undertaken by the Election Commission of India is under teeth of the Constitution or beyond the ambit of the Constitution, or timing was wrong. Let's see what judgment comes. So it will be a landmark judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court. Honorable Supreme Court has made various observations, have allowed various voters' names whose name were deleted arbitrarily. So they are fundamentals which will be fixed by the Honorable Supreme Court. Certain guidelines will be issued. Let's see what the outcome comes. We will discuss thereafter.
Thank you, Mr. Dubey, for joining me. And with that, viewers, it's time for a short commercial break. We'll be back on the other side with a lot more. Stay with us.